We're going to be working on a problem from the Practice and Skills workbook. It's page 99, problem number 17. Okay, on this problem it says approximate each irrational number to the nearest hundredth without using a calculator, and then we have the square root of 32. Okay, so what they want us to do on this one is they don't want us just to put it into the calculator and say square root of 32 and give us an answer. So they want us to use approximation and some number lines to help us get that answer. We are going to be using a calculator to help with the arithmetic part of it, but it won't be to put in that 32 and get the answer right away. We have to use the approximation as asked. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to actually make a number line, and we're going to take that square root of 32 and I'm going to put it somewhere on that number line. Let's go ahead and I'm going to put it below it, and I'm going to just call this square root of 32 right here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up with two numbers that it would be in between. Okay, well, if you go through your perfect squares, like for example, if I go like 3 squared, I get 9. 4 squared, I get 16. 5 squared, I get 25. 6 squared, I get 36. Okay, and I can stop at that point right there. I know that my number 32 is going to be somewhere in between the 36 and the 25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that information that I got over here, I'm going to transfer that over to our number line so you can get a better picture of what we're actually doing. So let's go ahead, let's put the 25 right here, a little square root symbol, and I'm going to put the 36 right here. Okay, and what that tells us is if I take the square root of 25, I know that that is 5, and then I'm still going to leave that square root of 32 in there, and then I know that the square root of 36 is 6. Okay, and I know that it's going to be in between, the square root of 32 is in between 5 and 6. Okay, that would be great, and we'd be done with the problem if they had asked us to round to the nearest whole number. Problem is they want us to go to the nearest hundredths. So what we have to do is we have to go a little further than that. So I need to come up with a number that's going to be between 5 and 6. That's going to get us a little bit closer. Let's start off with the tenths place. So we're going to kind of guess a little bit. Let's pick a number between 5 and 6. So let's pick a number like about 5.5. Okay, and let's pick a 5.6 and 5.7. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to square those numbers, kind of like what I did right here. And over here we had perfect numbers. So now I'm going to go over and I'm going to multiply these two together. This is where I would use a calculator in this stage right here. So 5.5 I'd write down as 30.25. 5.6 I would write down as 31.36. And you're just multiplying 5.6 times 5.6. And 5.7 squared, that one's going to get us 32.49. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I need to look to see where our 32 would be. Okay, well, we know it's not going to be between 30.25 and 31.36, but 32 would fit between these two numbers right here. Okay, so it's sort of like doing that number line again, just like you did above, and putting our square root of 32 right here. just like we did above. Okay, so I'm trying to do the same thing we did before. So now I'm going to set up our inequalities just like we did before, and this is going to be 5.6 square root of 32 and 5.7. And I'll put less than. Okay, so what we've done now is we've got a better estimation that the square root of 32 is between 5.6 and 5.7. Okay, well, problem is that's getting us a little bit closer. We're getting closer to our hundredths, but we're actually only at tenths, so we're going to have to find a number in between those two. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift all the way up to here. You are going to need a lot of room on this problem. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple numbers. I think what I'm going to try is, let's try 5.65, 5.66. When I'm picking these numbers right here, what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and I'm just choosing numbers that might work. And if you notice that when I select the numbers that I'm selecting, I kind of go for the middle. That's why I'm using that 0.5, and then that'll give me an estimation if I need to go to the right or to the left. So just total guess on the numbers right now. So I'm going to square this one right here, square this one, and square this one. And then at that stage, just like we did before, you can go ahead and take a calculator. I'm going to take 5.65 times 5.65. If I go ahead and I do that, I'm going to get 31.9225. Then I'm going to take 5.66 times 5.66, and if I do that, I'm going to get 32.0356. Okay. At this stage, we could actually stop. I don't have to calculate the other one. The reason we can stop is if you look at it, we know that our 32 is going to lie somewhere in between these two numbers. Sort of like if we do our number line right here, we know that the 32 is going to be in between the 31.9225 and the 32.0356. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll put my 32 right there. And I'll put my square root just to be consistent, just like we did before. Square root, square root. And I'm going to rewrite it with our numbers that we actually used. So it was 5.65 is going to be less than square root of 32, which is going to be less than 5.66. Okay, if you notice right now we're getting a better estimation. We're getting closer. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that another time. I'm going to use a different color. So I need a number between 5.65 and 5.66. So let's go ahead and I'm going to use 5.65, and then we'll put a 5. 5.656 and 5.657. Okay, and just like before, we're going to square those. Okay, again, go to your calculator go ahead and put those numbers in. So it's 5.655 times 5.655, hit equal. If you do that, you're going to get 31.979025. Okay, next one's going to be 5.656 times 5.656, hit equal. And I get 31.990336. Okay, I can't stop like I did last time because 32 is not going to be between those two numbers. So I'm going to try that next number. I'm hoping that'll work. Otherwise, I got to select another number. So it's 5.657 times 5.657, hit equal. Okay, we get 32.001649. Okay, good news. And if you notice, we have 31.990336 and 32.001649, and 32 would be in between those two. It kind of squish in right in here. Okay, so that we don't get confused, I'm going to just put a little bit lower on this one. Okay, just like before, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put my square roots in there just to be consistent. So you can see that part. And now I'm going to write down our actual numbers that we used. We used 5.656 is less than square root of 32. And we have 5.657. Okay, and then at this stage we can go ahead and round to the nearest hundreds. It says number to the nearest hundreds. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a rounding at this stage. Yeah. So let's take a look. And if you go ahead and kind of cut it off right here, and I take 5.65, I have 5 or more. So we're going to go ahead and we would get 5.66 as our approximation for the square root of 32. And we get our answer like that. One way you can check your answer is if you go to your calculator and you can check it by putting 32 in, and then after you hit 32, so I'll put that in as a calculator key, put that square root, and then you'll come up with your answer same way. But again, I'm doing this as a check down here. Remember that they didn't want you to use the calculator directly, so that would be using it directly. All this other work that you saw in the problem was using the approximation method. Hopefully that helps you. I know it was a long problem, but hopefully that helps you.